Hi, this is Lori Rulin with InDesign Secrets. In this video, we're going to make a soft cover book cover for a book that might be printed using an on-demand book publisher. We'll create the front, the spine, and the back cover. The great thing about this method is that the document is set up as 3 separate pages that you can export the cover, spine, or back page separately as a JPEG or PDF for promotional use, or you can export all 3 pages as a spread for the production file. We need to calculate the spine thickness, which depends upon the number of pages multiplied by the thickness of the paper. We also want the spine to be flexible so we can modify the thickness later if pages are added or removed. You'll see in my final file that I have 3 separate pages here that are all aligned next to each other. Let's learn how to set those up. So now let's create our book cover from scratch. I'll choose File, New, come over to Document, and I want to make my size 6 inches wide by 9 inches high. The orientation is portrait. I want 3 pages. I do not want facing pages or a primary text frame, and the columns will stay at 1. Now I'm going to leave the margins at 1/2 inch because I want to show you a typical problem that we'll run into, and I'll change the bleed to be 0.125. I'll hit Create, and I'll see in my Pages panel that I have 3 separate pages. Now the first step is to bring these pages so that they are next to each other. Now if I try to drag 2 up next to 1, it doesn't work. So I have to tell it to shuffle. I'm going to uncheck the Allow Document Pages to Shuffle. And by doing this, I'm now able to grab page 2 and put it right next to page 1. So I'll do that for all 3 of those pages, and they're now sitting right next to each other. Now the middle page is going to be my spine, so I'll select it, choose my Page tool, and I'll come up to the width and click on the W, type in a 1-inch width, and then I'll hit Return. Now it's going to give me an error message. I can't make a 1-inch width of my page with 1/2-inch margins. It just doesn't work. So I have to reduce the margin value. I'll do that by coming to the Layout menu, Margins and Columns, and just reduce my margin value down to 0.125. I'll click OK. My margins are much smaller. So now when I come up to my width value and type in 1 and hit Return, I have a 1-inch wide spine with smaller margins. The next thing I have to do is to align these 3 pages so that they're right next to each other. I could manually align them, but the problem is that I may drag them and not make them perfect. So I'm going to use the Align panel. I'll select my spine, hold the Shift key down, and select the other 2 pages. Now do notice that I'm using the Page tool. Now that I have all 3 of these pages selected, I'll go to the Align panel, choose to align them to, say, their top edges. I'll come down to Distribute Spacing and make sure I have 0 in the value, and then I'll hit this button to distribute horizontal space. All 3 of my pages are right next to each other. Next, I'm going to return to my Selection tool. I'll go back to my other document and copy and paste this information. I'll select all, I'll copy this, come back to my untitled document, and choose to paste it in place so it goes right exactly where it came from. Now, the other great thing about using the method of 3 separate pages is that I can have the spine be flexible. I can design my book cover first and then work on the content of the book. Once I'm sure of the exact number of pages, I can just recalculate the width of the spine. There are many online calculators out there, and I just found one here online. And I can type in the trim size, 6 by 9, and type in my page count that I might have. I'll hit Calculate the cover size, and my spine width is 0.6756. So I'll use this for now. I'll go ahead and select this number, copy it, come on back here, and again use my Page tool to select the spine page. I'll come up to my width value and paste that number in. When I hit Return, you'll notice that the spine width gets smaller. Now because my reference point here is set to the center, it got smaller into the center. It didn't go left or right. Now I have to align them again, so I have my spine selected. I'll hold the Shift key, select the other 2 pages, align, and distribute the space and bring them in closer. Now that I have my book cover set up with the 3 separate pages and I'm confident that my spine is the exact size, we're going to export this. File, Export, and I can choose JPEG or PDF. First, I'm going to do the JPEG. And I'll come up here and type in CV for cover as a JPEG and hit Save. Now my range, I have to choose which page is the cover. So I'll choose page 3, and I'll make sure that it's set to pages. I can type in any image quality that I might need and hit export. And now I have an exported JPEG of just the cover. Now I'd like to export this as a PDF for all 3 pages. I'll choose File, Export, make sure PDF is chosen at the bottom. I'll choose a previous PDF to get the name and click Save. And now I'd like to make sure that it's all pages, spreads, and I do want to have a bleed. So I'll choose Crop Marks and the bleed settings that I set up in the new document. I'll click Export, and here is my PDF with the back cover, the spine, and the front cover ready for production. So I hope this helped you learn how to create a soft cover book wrap with a spine, back cover, and front cover using InDesign.
Hi, I'm Mike Rankin, Editor-in-Chief of InDesign Secrets, and if you want lots more tips like this, be sure to check out InDesignSecrets.com and subscribe to InDesign Magazine.